So, been looking forward to this. And again, I enjoyed it. I think it's a very strong start to the series. It's more of a character piece than before, because it's basically just setting up Will and Lyra together, getting their kind of chemistry together, and they do have chemistry. They are good together. And in the books, they're fantastic. I love them. Both the characters are just brilliant. Will's a little bit less harsh than he was in the book. Hopefully that does come out a little bit more in the series. I mean, we did get a bit of his characterization last series, and like when his mum was insulted, yes, he did go off on somebody, and yeah, you can see that kind of ferociousness with him. Yeah, hopefully that will be explored a bit more later on, especially with his attack on the top of Torre degli Angeli, and see how that goes. I'm looking forward to that. They've changed the title sequence, which is interesting. I quite like that. And presumably that's how they're going to go. I mean, they concentrated much more on the lithiometer last season. Now they've got the bit of a good image of the subtle knife. Perhaps next season they'll have a good image of the amber spyglass, and have some scenes from that book there. They've got some more scenes from this book here, and just subtly changed it so it'd be more in line with what's going on in this season. So yeah, that's good. But I'm still loving the intro. It's one of the few series out that actually has a melodic theme tune. The only other one that I can think of at the moment is Game of Thrones. Most television series tend to go more for atmosphere rather than a melodic theme tune, so I love that. And the fact that the title sequence starts off with essentially a spoiler, but is only a spoiler once you know what it is, it's just wonderful. And there are a few other spoilers coming in throughout it, which is quite good. But you don't know it unless you actually see it, so it's great. It is interesting that you actually see the spectres, which is a bit odd because there's no adults there, but you still see that. So it's not really what I imagine the spectres to be. I imagine them to be more like ghosts, like the Cybermen ghosts were played in Doctor Who, in the Army of Ghosts, that kind of thing. That's what I was imagining it to be. But here it's more like the monster from Lost. Just a big black smoke, which just is an interesting design choice. See how that goes. There was a little bit, a few changes in the story, particularly with Mrs. Coulter's story, where the witch is saved by Ruta Skadi rather than Serafina Pekkala. I don't mind that change too much, simply because with the limited screen time you've got, it just kind of sets up Ruta Skadi's character a bit more, and say that she's going to be a bit more of a character going forward. So that's fine. What I did think was interesting was the torture scene itself, because in the books the witches fly by holding on to some cloud pine, whereas in this series it's embedded in their skin, which it's it's very clever. I mean, throughout season 1 I was wondering what these kind of like tattoo kind of things were on Serafina Pekkala, and it's kind of answered in this episode that they are sprigs of cloud pine that are buried beneath the skin. I actually like that. I think I prefer that to what's in the book, because in the book it was a bit, I kept wondering, they're holding on to cloud pine but they're also firing arrows, so also holding on to a bow, and they have to fire arrows, and they've got, how do they do that? I don't get it. But here, they've got both hands free. They can use a bow and things like that, or they can just, do the flash and just go from one place to another as fast as they can. Yeah, that was good. But the Lyra and Will storyline was very, very similar to the books, right down to, you know, Will making omelette and Lyra trying to copy him and failing even with the shells in there, and their conversation between about, you know, ambient lighting versus electric lighting, things like that. I quite like that. Like that, those kind of conversations. There's just a character building and then getting to know each other. Really, really good. Yeah, so hopefully this is just set up for, you know, where they're going to go in the future. Yeah, there are just so many scenes I can't wait to see on screen. I can't wait to see the Southern Life itself. That, you know, that should just be really good. I mean, we caught glimpses of it in like a vision or something. I don't really know what that was, but what I liked about those scenes, the glimpses you got, was the knife seemed sharp, and I'm talking sharp. You see knives and swords in films and stuff like that, they never seem sharp, you know, not close up. You saw the blade close up and you couldn't see the edge. It was so sharp, which the Southern Life is supposed to be. It's so sharp it can cut through worlds. That's what it's for. So yeah, I am looking forward to the rest of the series, and I think it's a very, very strong opening, with a lot to enjoy about it.